Welcome to the 30-minute presentation session of Metanode focusing on blockchain solutions for the aquaculture industry. Why is blockchain considered the future technology of the aquaculture import and export industry? Back in 2009, when Bitcoin was introduced to the public, blockchain was known as the backbone of Bitcoin. The emergence of Bitcoin in particular, and blockchain in general, allows people to connect and transact with each other without the need for banks or intermediaries. From 2009 to now, after 14 years, this is the time when developed countries prioritize the application of blockchain. In fact, in 2020, Walmart conducted a pilot project where they used blockchain to track the origin of beef from producers to consumers, ensuring food transparency and safety. This strengthens consumer trust. Currently, Vietnam's seafood export industry still faces several issues, especially in removing the yellow card imposed by the EU market. The reason Europe restricts the yellow card for seafood exports from Vietnam is the inability to ensure traceability. However, traceability is a strength of blockchain. Information about products, from the moment they are caught, such as the fishing area, legality, production process, processing, transportation, to the entities involved in the supply chain, are all transparently recorded. This helps meet the stringent standards of demanding markets, accelerating the pace of removing the yellow card in the European market. According to research, up to 50% of the shelf life of products is wasted during transportation. Espen Braded, from the IBM Food Trust Europe organization, also adds that food fraud in the global business exceeds $10 billion annually. This is a major issue, and we need to ensure that the food we consume, especially seafood products, can be clearly traced back to their origins. So how can blockchain help liberate seafood industry businesses? In general, there are two aspects in which blockchain can support businesses. Within this context, blockchain can help businesses reduce costs through its advantages, such as transparency, which can maintain business data on an immutable system that no one can alter. Therefore, business data, including accounting, financials, or important data like customer transaction history, customer information, revenue, will be securely stored. The main purpose of implementing blockchain is to help businesses reduce costs, including inventory management fees, transaction fees, transportation costs, operational costs, and especially to reduce tax obligations for businesses with smart cash flows. Disbelief. Furthermore, blockchain helps reduce inventory management costs by reducing labor costs in inventory counting, equipment management costs, staff costs, and ultimately costs incurred due to fraud or errors in the counting process. In the usual process, a seafood import-export business has to stock a considerable quantity of products. So the issue here is controlling the quality of incoming products. This process has many problems, such as employees colluding with suppliers to import low-quality products. Blockchain helps assign responsibility to each employee. Every action of checking and counting the goods upon receipt into the warehouse must be confirmed and digitally signed. Therefore, employees are obliged to be more responsible during the process. Next is the issue of loss, or poor quality goods upon receipt into the warehouse. Blockchain helps assign a code to each product to track it across suppliers, because once the product is in the warehouse, it is difficult to trace back to the supplier. Therefore, from the input control stage, businesses can track batches by code. When there is an issue with the product, querying the responsible supplier will be easier and faster. Lastly, businesses can reduce employee costs for monitoring and maintaining cold storage. Currently, most cold storage facilities are operated by measuring devices in the warehouse. Blockchain helps connect these devices to provide accurate, stable cold storage data for business owners, while also issuing timely alerts when the warehouse encounters issue. Because if there are problems with cold storage, such as the refrigeration unit not working or running continuously without stopping when reaching the set temperature threshold, if not detected in time, we will incur significant losses from repair costs, equipment warranties to the quality of products brought to the market. Specifically, in the process of checking goods, blockchain will assign a code to each employee, similar to an employee ID. When checking goods, employees will use the assigned code to scan QR codes for goods receipt and inspection. This means they digitally sign to confirm receipt and inspection, ensuring that the product quality meets the company's standards. If any batch encounters an issue, it can be traced back on the blockchain to review the specific date, time of receipt, into the warehouse and the employee who checked the goods. Currently, mostly batches are received and inspected manually, or even not inspected at all, leading to problems with products not meeting quality standards when reaching customers' hands, which damages the company's reputation. When goods are received into the warehouse, the quantity will be counted using blockchain ID codes. As soon as the product is received into the warehouse, the quantity will be simultaneously updated in the warehouse system data in real time. Blockchain will connect storage devices in the warehouse by storage compartments, thereby providing alerts in case the cold storage encounters issues such as temperature not meeting standards or excessively high humidity. After controlling the input food, the processing stage comes next. For the processing stage, measuring the performance of each employee is crucial. This performance will be measured based on real-time data using employee codes to track whether employees accurately transfer goods to the machinery area. Secondly, for managing machinery processes, businesses can also control the quantity of finished products and receive immediate alerts when machines malfunction or fail to meet performance standards. Lastly, in the packaging stage, the business will assign origin certification codes to the products, including expiration dates and the time of receipt and delivery. These certification codes will accompany the products throughout the transportation process until they reach the end consumers. So, to summarize, in the warehouse management process, blockchain helps track the quality and quantity of goods in real time. In reality, the quantity of goods for each shipment or receipt is often substantial, so there is still a possibility of errors when employees scan codes for each product. Therefore, the application of mini supercomputers, also known as Raspberry Pi, with an average market price of $50, helps automate and expedite the process of scanning and counting large quantities of goods. To save costs for businesses, Metanode will sell the hardware that only supports software integration into the hardware for the company. With a small device priced at just $50 available anywhere on the market, businesses will save a significant amount of costs, especially training and salary expenses for employees. Similarly, with the Pi machine, the process of counting goods when shipping out of the warehouse can also be automated, ensuring speed and efficiency. All information and specifications of products from shipment until their condition and preservation conditions during transportation are indefinitely stored on the blockchain. The application of blockchain also helps businesses reduce the costs associated with obtaining origin certifications. With the limitations of the yellow card, the cost of exporting seafood to the European market has increased significantly, while the quantity has decreased due to prolonged delivery times. We encounter difficulties in removing the gold tag because, currently, the main solutions involve attaching positioning chips to track products, which incurs quite a high cost, not to mention a high rate of device errors and damages when passing through multiple suppliers. Secondly, the infrastructure of the seafood industry in Vietnam is still weak, and we have also not yet met enough standards to prove the origin of the products, nor can we prove whether the seafood has been caught from legally authorized sea areas or not. This is a diagram describing the process of traceability from fishing vessels to end users. Firstly, the fishing vessels will be assigned a code understood as an identification code. After catching, fishermen will inspect the quality and status of the catch. Then, they proceed to clean and process the catch to pack them in batches before sending them to the company. Employees will attach a code to the batch during the warehouse inspection process. They must also digitally sign to confirm the completion of the inspection and attachment process. Afterwards, they proceed to packaging and selling the products. When the product reaches the end user, they will scan the product code to activate its usage rights. After activation, users will receive information and specifications of the product, as well as usage instructions. The process of applying digital signatures and receiving goods through smart contracts. When goods are shipped out of the warehouse, their shipping status will be recorded, and each product will be assigned a corresponding shipment code. The products will pass through the customs of various countries and reach the first distributor. The distributor will be authorized to scan the shipment code upon receiving the goods. The goods received at the distributor's warehouse will have their transaction code stored on the blockchain for users to easily look up on the blockchain. When the distributor ships the goods to the lower-level agent, they will select the transfer of ownership to the authorized lower-level agent's code. The lower-level agent continues to scan the code to prove ownership rights over the goods. After passing through 10 levels of agents, the goods reach the end users with a complete journey from the manufacturer to one distributor and 10 agents. For example, if an end user purchases goods at Walmart, they can scan the code to check whether the Walmart warehouse information appears in the search or not. This is a comprehensive solution to counterfeit labels and codes in the market. Distributors and users can also access Metanode's scanning interface to scan codes and look up product information. This is the search interface of Metanode's website. Below is a sample scenario of a user searching for information about squid eggs on Metanode's scanning interface. Unlike the information on traditional product packaging, when applying blockchain, the product information displayed to end users will include details from the catching process, such as the fishing area, the condition when caught, the fishing method, and even the processing method after catching. In addition, users can also receive information related to the preservation process, including the date and time of harvesting, transportation, and the temperature maintained throughout the shipping process. And finally, information about preservation methods, thawing, and cooking methods will also be provided. The detailed product information will be displayed as shown in the table above, with all transportation processes, warehouse entry and exit times, transfers, and ownership clearly noted on the scanning interface's lookup table. Returning to the example of a Walmart shopper above, when scanning the code, in addition to viewing the information about warehouse entry at Walmart, the user will be able to see the entire process, starting from the manufacturing facility right through the transportation phase. Blockchain helps reduce debt, mitigating the risk of debt loss in the international market. The debt recovery process, especially international debt recovery, involves significant risks. Firstly, exchange rate fluctuations can pose financial risks for businesses when recovering debts internationally. If the value of foreign currency decreases, the value of debts will also decrease accordingly. Furthermore, there are risks associated with the delivery of goods being completed, but being unable to contact the partner or the partner being delayed in contract settlement. Blockchain can address the above problem through escrow arrangements and automatic payments via smart contracts. For example, let's consider a scenario where a company in Italy needs to export a shipment to the United States under a contract for one container at a price of $100,000. The exporting company in Italy will enter into a smart contract on the blockchain with the importing company in the United States, recording the quantity and quality of each shipment. The importing company in the US will proceed to place a deposit using cryptocurrency, such as ME/USDT or any token issued by the Italian company and accepted for payment. At this point, the deposit amount will be sent to the smart contract. The exporting company will also be required to deposit an equivalent amount of compensation in the contract, typically around 8% of the contract value, while the importing company will deposit about 50% of the order value. Blockchain can address the above problem through escrow arrangements and automatic payments via smart contracts. For example, let's consider a scenario where a company in Italy needs to export a shipment to the United States under a contract for one container at a price of $100,000. The exporting company in Italy will enter into a smart contract on the blockchain with the importing company in the United States, recording the quantity and quality of each shipment. The importing company in the US will proceed to place a deposit using cryptocurrency, such as ME/USDT or any token issued by the Italian company and accepted for payment. At this point, the deposit amount will be sent to the smart contract. The exporting company will also be required to deposit an equivalent amount of compensation in the contract, typically around 8% of the contract value, while the importing company will deposit about 50% of the order value. If there are irregularities with the order, the smart contract refunds 50% of the money to the importing company, along with compensation as stipulated in the contract. Most contracts will allow for a certain error rate within the batch, and this will also determine the reimbursement rate in the smart contract. Faulty batches or items can be documented with evidence such as images or videos uploaded to the smart contract by the importer. The exporter then digitally signs to accept or reject reimbursement for the batch as per the contract terms. Consequently, payments will be automatically executed in real time. Blockchain helps reduce operational costs, survey costs, and customer service programs. Blockchain allows business systems to operate without the need to incur costs for server rental. All data on the blockchain is stored on a decentralized platform, minimizing the risk of data breaches or theft. Blockchain is renowned for its transparency. When businesses integrate blockchain, they no longer need to spend on user experience surveys. Instead, they can interact directly with users when they scan the product activation code. User evaluations stored on the blockchain are immutable, and distributors have the authority to publicly showcase user reviews or keep them private for internal improvement purposes. Blockchain helps businesses operate in the international market without being limited by exchange rate differentials. Tax costs are also reduced through the smart contract feature, which facilitates smart revenue distribution. The international payment solution will consist of the following three main solutions. Businesses use Metanode for global payments without incurring foreign exchange conversion costs. Recipients can directly convert Metanode to fiat and withdraw as usual. Lastly, businesses can deposit funds through smart contracts and receive a refund if there are legitimate issues arising with the order. Companies can use Metanode to pay other partners, create Visa cards, load me onto Visa or MasterCard for purchasing orders on platforms like Amazon, buying plane tickets, booking hotel rooms, paying salaries and bonuses to employees, and even making NFC contactless payments at retail points. Finally, companies can also accumulate me as an investment. What NFC payment with Metanode can do? Firstly, users can scan a QR code at the checkout counter, and the system will automatically prioritize payment using me or other eligible internal points. Secondly, users can make contactless NFC payments via Visa/MasterCard international payment cards with either fiat currency or me/internal points, depending on their preference. Thirdly, users can utilize internal point payment cards from any brand to make NFC payments at all global brands' outlets. Businesses only need to follow 4 simple steps to implement the international payment solution. Step 1. Create a Metanode business wallet and verify the company through the KYB system. Step 2. Top up me into the business wallet. Step 3. Set up their internal currency, including name, logo, and conversion rate. For the conversion rate, the system supports businesses. For example, companies can set a low conversion rate or set it to 0 for businesses in the same industry. If a business wants to use Metanode for payments, they can skip this step. Step 4. Utilize Metanode's management software at physical stores or online channels to manage payments and customer wallet balances. With smart currency, businesses will significantly reduce their annual tax expenses. Here's a demo of businesses receiving payments from users via Metanode. Users make payments using a Visa card, and then the business receives Metanode back through an implicit conversion mechanism. The business can then use Metanode for payments at other businesses or transfer Metanode to other countries without incurring taxes or foreign exchange fees. Through this method, the business's profit will significantly increase due to tax deductions. To understand it better, let's use an example. Suppose a service is priced at 10,000 me after the customer pays via Metanode. This amount of $10,000 will automatically be divided into 80,000 as the actual amount received by the business, 5,000 for shipping fees, and 15,000 for distributor fees as well as supplier profits. Through this feature of splitting the cash flow, the business only needs to pay taxes on the amount of 80,000 that it actually receives. The automatic commission payment solution through affiliate marketing allows for deposits to purchase goods early, immediate payment upon generating sales, international commission payments without borders, selling in Singapore, receiving commission payments anywhere in the world without fees. How can businesses increase their revenue with blockchain? Businesses can increase their sales volume by enhancing the perceived value of their products, ensuring transparency in their origins, and gaining consumer trust. This strategy not only improves brand recognition, but also provides a competitive advantage in both domestic and international markets. With the blockchain platform, businesses can reduce costs and increase profits by digitizing products, creating a resale market with the following two models. The new solution model allows distributors to place deposits for early purchases with two main approaches. Model 1, establishing a primary sales market following the traditional model. Distributors will scan the code and stock the goods before reselling them. Scanning the code not only helps avoid selling items nearing their expiration date, but also ensures price stability across different markets, preventing undercutting. With the second model, distributors won't need to store products in warehouses. Instead, they only need to scan a QR code symbolizing the purchase upon acquisition and transfer ownership by scanning a QR code representing the sale. This entire process, from the manufacturer to the distributor to the end user, won't incur warehousing and transportation costs. Products will be shipped directly from the manufacturer to the end user. There are no transportation costs. For example, with 10 distributors, you can save transportation and warehousing costs 10 times. Increase sales through methods like affiliate marketing, bulk purchase programs to resell, increase the number of distributors participating in the supply chain because distributors do not need cold storage or transportation systems and can still participate in the buy and sell process. Lastly, it's easy to expand into international markets. For example, someone in Singapore can buy a large quantity of goods and sell them to the United States. Someone in the United States can sell to India, and the company in India receives the goods, and the cycle continues. Blockchain can also be applied in business management. Business can integrate blockchain into their daily operations since the inception to the growth and expansion. Currently, how is the business storing documents? Storing on paper records consumes human resources for management, not to mention the handover process when employees leave and pass on to new employees, with turnovers happening 3 to 4 times a year. Errors and losses are inevitable. Next is storing on drives or the cloud. Every year, businesses and consumers spend over $30 billion on cloud storage. Usually stored as Word or Excel files, once edited, it's difficult to track changes. For example, a customer file, when an employee makes changes, or when an employee leaves without passing it on correctly to the next person. When the company tries to retrieve it 6 months or a year later, it's challenging to handle. Blockchain can restore the edited data from 3 years ago and identify the employee responsible for errors, providing approval for the incorrect file. And storing on computer hard drives carries even more risks, such as drive failure or loss. In summary, current storage methods do not ensure the integrity of records. With traditional storage methods, when conducting searches, we have to search through each file on Google Drive, not to mention files stored in employees' accounts. If there are errors, the person currently working may blame the previous person for handing over incorrect information, leading to a cycle of finger pointing to find the source of mistakes. Clearly defining responsibilities within the organization is essential. With blockchain, companies can search for records and information with just one action, similar to searching on Google, all on the same platform. This allows for easy retrieval of data spanning 10 years, minimizing errors during handover processes. Blockchain enables transparency in a company's auditing process. The traditional approval method primarily relies on trust, as on any given day. The volume of documents requiring approval in an enterprise is quite significant. Typically, there is a close subordinate who reviews the content and presents it to the superior for approval. However, what if there are errors in the review process prior to signing or even fraudulent actions? Not to mention the fact that handwritten signatures can be easily forged, or that businesses would incur significant costs for electronic signature storage software. With blockchain, the signing and approval process relies entirely on evidence rather than trust. Each process must be digitally signed by the responsible party, and all records are stored on the blockchain platform, impervious to tampering with digital signatures that cannot be forged. Blockchain establishes an audit process based on different levels and departments. Every decision, action, from employees to high-level executives, is sent to smart contracts and stored on-chain. So what will blockchain achieve when applied to human resources management processes? Blockchain helps optimize the human resources processes in all stages, from recruitment to transparent timekeeping, and even automated payroll disbursement. Here is the description of the automated timekeeping process. Employees will clock in for work, and blockchain will record whether they arrive late or early, and then proceed to calculate their wages. This payroll sheet will be reviewed, confirmed once again by supervisors, and the entire evaluation results will be completely stored on-chain. The advantages of the automated timekeeping method include mitigating the risk of employee wage fraud, reducing the time required for recruitment and personnel management processes, optimizing workforce productivity. Blockchain helps automate internal management processes. Now, businesses can digitize traditional contracts by creating smart contracts in just 3 simple steps. All data of the business will be stored on-chain to ensure transparency and cannot be altered. Businesses will also experience a document storage system tailored for them, making searching and storing documents easier and faster. Lastly, off-chain technology ensures maximum security for the business's contract content. Digitizing contracts helps prevent covert changes to contract terms. For example, when Company A and Company B negotiate and sign a contract with a smart contract, if either company wants to modify a term, the smart contract will send a notification to Company A. Only when both parties, A and B, sign with digital signatures confirming the change can the new term be modified. What are the advantages of tokenizing traditional contracts with NFT? The accounting process also becomes more transparent. Business owners can easily track and control cash flows and expenditures, including items such as recording revenues, expenses, accounts payable and receivable, tax declarations, social insurance contributions, and dividend payments to shareholders. As a result, businesses can reduce personnel costs for the accounting department. For the automatic revenue recognition model, let's assume retailer pays the company in me a value of $100,000 me and company B pays $1 million in fiat. The blockchain system automatically records this as plus $1 million and plus 100,000 me. Then, the accounting department will generate a report stating the receipt of 100,000 MD from retailer AA, $1 million from partner BA, and a reduction of 100,000 equivalent to 10% tax. The advantage of this method is that it reduces the tax burden on the company's revenue. The cost when reaching the end users will be lower, thereby creating a competitive advantage in the market. The following model describes how the application of blockchain enhances transparency and expense management. Employees, when making expenditures, must submit payment invoices to the system and simultaneously sign for confirmation. For senior personnel, they can spend using ME tokens through Visa cards issued by the company. This information will be stored on the blockchain, and the company owner will grant access to the accounting department. The accounting department will confirm the tax accounting and then send it to higher levels such as the CFO or the company owner, who will confirm after review. The entire process is stored and digitally signed on the blockchain. The model for automatic salary payment in ME tokens is as follows. Employees log into the Metanode payroll app to clock in. The smart contract will automatically process expenses, including salaries and insurance. The payroll will be digitally signed by the accounting department and the CFO. Then, the system will automatically transfer the equivalent amount of ME tokens corresponding to the employee's salary. Upon receiving this, the employee will proceed to digitally sign for confirmation. The advantages of this method include reducing the tax burden on employees' income, lowering costs for the accounting department, reducing tax and insurance expenses for the company, automating payroll reconciliation, and finally, the company no longer needs to finalize payroll at the end of each period. With the flexible salary advance feature, employees can receive 30% of their salary in ME tokens and use them for expenses via the Visa gateway. In this case, the advance amount will automatically be deducted from the salary of the following month. This helps minimize the occurrence of employees resorting to informal credit sources. Businesses now have the ability to automatically settle cross-border accounts, receivable and payable within just 1 second using smart contracts without incurring currency conversion fees. Payments are processed instantly, eliminating the need to calculate transfer times to avoid contract penalties. Furthermore, there are no currency conversion fees or exposure to exchange rate fluctuations. In summary, for this solution, businesses do not need to calculate the time for income and expenditure of debts, which helps reduce personnel costs and avoid contract penalties for late payments. Additionally, there are no foreign currency conversion fees or transfer fees. Particularly, there is no need to wait to receive money as with traditional bank transfers. Business owners can easily monitor internal activities, control cash flow, and track expenses and revenue effortlessly. With the solutions provided by blockchain, the cost of implementing this technology into business operations is only equivalent to the cost of paying salaries for 2 mid-level employees. Businesses only need to pay 0.001 for a transaction generated on the platform without any additional fees such as connection fees, monthly maintenance fees, etc. And the figure of 0.001 remains fixed, regardless of any market price fluctuations. Specifically, for businesses operating in the seafood industry, the platform cost per day that a business needs to pay is equivalent to the number of units of goods sold by the business multiplied by the figure of 0.001. Assuming a seafood import-export business has an annual revenue of 1,000 billion VND with profits coming from 3 main products: shrimp, fish, and squid. where the profit percentages are 40%, 30%, and 30% respectively. In the case where the business sells to the market at prices of 100,000 VND per package of shrimp, 110,000 VND per package of fish, and 100,000 VND per package of squid, the total volume of products sold by the business would be approximately 7.7 million tons. Equivalent to the platform cost per year that the business needs to pay is $7.7 million. In summary, blockchain can optimize processes and costs for businesses in the seafood industry through the following 7 factors. Firstly, reducing operational costs. Secondly, controlling the quality of input materials. Thirdly, enhancing transparency and more effectively tracking product origins. Fourthly, reducing risks in debt recovery processes. Fifthly, decreasing international payment fees and annual taxes. Sixthly, seizing opportunities to enter secondary markets through product digitization. And finally, achieving greater transparency throughout the entire business management process, from inception to development and expansion with low costs.